everyone, welcome to another Am I the A-hole video. So, I'm just going to be reading these posts to you and then talking about them, and then we're going to go through the comments together. So this is the first post. It's by tinytownbigfuckyou, and it's called Am I the A-hole for checking the mail while the neighbours were fighting? A couple, early 20s, moved in across the street from my boyfriend and I a few months ago. They fight constantly. It's always the girlfriend screaming at the guy while he just silently takes care of their kid. Yesterday I was heading to a doctor's appointment and I needed to check if my new insurance card had arrived. There is a treatment I'm on the wait list for, and I can't start it until they have a copy of my insurance, which has been a huge headache to work with. I've been waiting for months for this treatment, so it's a pretty big deal that I get my card to them as soon as humanly possible. Before I went to my mailbox, I saw the neighbours in another one of their fights standing right next to the mailboxes. My boyfriend told me to just wait and check the mail after my appointment to avoid getting involved in their drama. He said we can just drop off the card at the clinic later if it had arrived. I didn't want to do this because I didn't want to risk delaying things any longer since this is a treatment I really need. Unfortunately, when I went to the mailbox, the girlfriend started berating me about enjoying the show. I told her I didn't care what was going on with them and that I just needed to get to the mail, and then I went back inside. My boyfriend told me an a-hole for involving myself and kept saying I told you so. He thinks it's going to cause problems with them. Personally, I don't really care because I got my card and their lease is up in a few months anyway. We also have security cameras, so if the girlfriend tries anything, we'd have it all on tape. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I have talked to the guy about getting him help, however calling the cops is not an option due to severe racial tensions in our area. He is currently working on moving back home, but cannot afford to do so yet. Honestly, assuming that your mailbox is, say, in your garden, they're either standing on your property or literally right next to it, which means that you should have the right to be able to get to your own property. So I think, honestly, the girlfriend is just a nasty person. Maybe she's got wind of the fact that you're trying to help her boyfriend, but who knows. Anyway, on to the comments. Rainbeuse, or whatever this person is called, says, not the a-hole. If the neighbours don't want people enjoying the show, then they shouldn't be putting on the show in a public place. The Forgotten Child says, exactly. Even if OP just wanted to get some junk mail while they were doing the deed in front of the mailbox, she would still be fully in the right. Chisks says, should have grabbed a cup of coffee and stepped back out to stare. I liked sitting on my deck and watch the neighbourhoods, so it's a thing. Constable Fishy says, big not the a-hole. You were just getting an insurance card, not trying to get closer and enjoy the show like she thought. Your boyfriend seems kind of like the A for telling you that you might be causing issues with them, though. Canish something says, I won't say the boyfriend is an a-hole. A lot of people will try to avoid conflict at the cost of a minor inconvenience, and the boyfriend probably didn't want to get into a socially tense situation or have trouble crop up in the next few months. I see his point, but he's not being an a-hole. He's taking the path of at least resistance to keep the peace. Edit. I seem to have misunderstood the urgency of the treatment and skipped over the fact that the significant other was calling the OP an a-hole. So yes, the boyfriend is kind of an a-hole and is inconveniencing the OP and not himself. Yeah. I'm not going to try and assume what the treatment is for, but if it's for something serious, then she needs the insurance card. Large says, not the a-hole. But you could have said that you weren't really enjoying it because it's a rerun from last week, and that she should get some fresh content. Non-diplomatic says, not the a-hole. She was in public. What was she expecting? that you walk around blindfolded to your mailbox. You are just living your life. If she doesn't want to be in a shit show for everyone else to see, she can start therapy. Anyway, moving on to the next one. This one is by sunflowerbeda, and it's called Am I the A-hole for telling my sister to get over her stillbirth and to be grateful for what she has? My sister and I have never gotten on that well. We're only 10 months apart, so struggle to have our own identities outside of each other. When she was 19, she got pregnant and started her family with her now husband. She had 3 kids, and then tried for a 4th, which was born stillborn with no warning. Understandably, she was devastated, but this was 10 years ago now, and she's had 2 children since. She's always used it as an excuse for things. If she wants a bit of attention from our parents, she brings it up and they're straight there. If she's late to a family gathering, "Oh, sorry, I'm late, we were visiting baby's grave," or "Oh, sorry, I was late, I was just sad about baby." And I do understand it, but I was told at 14 that I'm infertile, so for her to be like that when she has 5 healthy children always feels like a massive kick in the teeth. A few nights ago, her and her family came over to my husband and I's house, as well as our parents and other sister, who's a few years older than us. The anniversary of her stillbirth was the day before, so I was expecting it to be brought up at some point. I asked her to help me cook dinner, and when she brought a tray out of the oven, she didn't look where she was going and burnt me on the arm. Her excuse was that she was thinking about the baby that should have been 10 years old today. I tried to push it out of my mind to keep the peace. It gets to eating our dinner, and it's all her and her husband are talking about. I asked about her actual living kids, how her actual living kids are doing, and she brought it back to her stillbirth. I asked how her job was going, and she somehow managed to bring it back. I was getting absolutely sick of it, so I said, "Do you not think it's time you should be grateful for the kids you have? Get therapy and get over it." She burst into tears, of course, and her husband called me a bitch before leaving with her. My parents are absolutely furious with me, saying, "You know what she's been through." And even my husband is saying it was uncalled for. Am I the a-hole? I kind of agree with the husband here. I mean, maybe, like, regardless of how you feel about it, she's the one that experienced it in the first place, and you can't really judge how she is supposed to feel about it. I mean, she shouldn't be using it as an excuse for some things, and obviously she didn't just burn you because she was not looking where she was going because she was thinking about the baby or whatever. But honestly, it's how she chooses to deal with it, really, and maybe she should get therapy or whatever, but still, it's her choice. Anyway, let's see what the comments say. Dry Expression says, "Yes, it was uncalled for and mean for you to say that. 10 years is a long time for her to be bringing it up a lot. But her child died. But she is being insensitive about your infertility. You should have sat down and said, 'Infertility is very hard for me. I know what you went through is terrible, but I will never have children, and you have 5 healthy children. It is very hard for me to hear you discuss the loss of your child, when I know I will never be able to have even one of my own. Everyone sucks here. You more than her, I think.'" I forgot to mention the infertility when I was evaluating it, so I think that maybe this person is probably right here. And I think that maybe the reason OP is lashing out at the sister is because of her infertility, so it kind of is an everyone sucks here situation. Bambomuts replied to that, saying, "Quite honestly, I feel like OP is not the a-hole. She had to hear about it for 10 years, and not in a way of 'I'm sad because my child died,' but in a way of 'I'm sorry I'm late, I was mourning. I'm sorry I couldn't do this, I was mourning.' And I imagine, 'I'm sorry you're getting the attention of our parents right now, but I need it more because I'm mourning. My mum had 2 stillbirths with heavy medical procedures attached to it before she had me. She wasn't supposed to have me. She mentions it sometimes, but it's never in a way, sorry daughter, I couldn't do anything today because I'm still mourning. If someone next to you dies, you're expected to function like you did before a few months after. Her sister is not functioning like that at all. And then I don't mean it that it's not okay to visit a grave or mourn, but if you know you have to be somewhere, you'll pay attention to being on time. Life shouldn't revolve around death like her sister's life does. Because if that's so, then OP can continuously grieve about the fact that she can't have children. Sorry I'm late, I was grieving I'm infertile. Sorry I didn't do that, I was depressed about being infertile. But let's be honest, if she did that continuously, she would be the a-hole, because it's expected for her to get over it and function like a normal person. Very well put, as somebody else just said. This person here has just commented saying, I mean, yeah, you're going to be the a-hole here, but a couple of points. One, continued public grieving can also be hard on the kids. I hope they have all seen a counsellor. Two, sometimes you may be right, but still wrong if that makes sense. You don't always have to win. And this person here replied to that saying, I'm sorry I lashed out at you. I was just feeling sad at my infertility. OP processes her pain inwardly. Sister processes hers outwardly. Neither is wrong, but OP may not be giving people close to her the same opportunity her sister does to extend her their grace and support. This would be a good time to openly ask for some of that grace, and also to make clear that of course OP doesn't actually expect sister to get over anything, but that witnessing sister's mourning can be extremely triggering, and that OP hopes sister has reached a place in her grieving process where she has the emotional resources to factor OP's feelings into how she expresses herself. Okay, moving on to the next one now. So this one was written by daisycherryblossoms, and it's called Am I the A-hole for not telling my ex I got pregnant? I, 28 and female, was with my ex-husband for about 6 years. During this time, we were trying for a baby but had no success. About 4 years into our marriage had a rough patch. My ex had stress at work and slept with his co-worker to relieve it. He confessed to me rather quickly, and a week later, they sat me down and told me they were expecting a child. I was an idiot back then, so I felt like I should forgive him because I truly believed he loved me and I thought I had no one. I it it wasn't. My ex's family treated me like their own, but my ex's supposed daughter was the apple of their eye. As a result of that, my ex's co-worker was a frequent presence in our lives. They felt like they had to include the mum of their grandchild for everything too, and she made her way in every family picture and memory. It didn't help that I suspected that the co-worker had feelings for my ex, and flirted with him when she could. People thought that she was my ex's wife constantly, and I finally had enough when during the baby's girl's first birthday, when I was told to take a picture of my ex, his mistress, his daughter, and his parents, and it didn't include me. It hit me that I was now treated as the other woman, and I realised that I deserved more than this bullshit. I filed for divorce a few months later and left. It was the hardest time of my life, but I ended up getting a promotion at work and met this sweet, wonderful guy. Fast forward to now, me and my boyfriend are madly in love, and I gave birth to an adorable baby girl that I considered a miracle baby. I got pregnant with my boyfriend like 3 months after dating him, and I thought that it was strange that this could happen since my previous failed attempts with my ex, and had thought that I was the infertile one. It crossed my mind then that maybe he was the infertile one, and he believed his mistress was pregnant with his child because they were having an affair. I didn't say anything, though, because it was not my place anymore. However, my boyfriend was so happy about my daughter's birth that he posted it on Facebook and tagged me in the post. I was still friends with my ex-sister-in-law on Facebook, and she saw the post. She called me up and said that she was hurt that I didn't let her know that I could actually get pregnant, and the lack of child during my first marriage could be my ex's fault. He took a paternity test. The poor baby girl was never my ex's. The co-worker apparently was dating this terrible guy during the time she slept with my ex, and didn't know who the child's father was, so she just strung my ex along because she had feelings for him and thought he'd be the best father for her child. Now my ex blames me for not telling him that I was pregnant way before, and having him to father this girl. He's doing pretty bad now, but I can't help but feel guilty, like I should have told him. Honestly, just don't even bother. You deserve so much more than this guy. I don't really understand why he would do that, and it's honestly just karma coming to him. Because if you're going to play dirty games, then I don't know why you would be shocked when somebody does the exact same thing for you. Anyway, according to the comments, Messer Follis, I think that's how it's pronounced, says, not the a-hole. First of all, what the F? Your ex cheats on you and blames you for taking him on fatherhood for a child that's not his. I'm not going to say it because this comment will be removed. Sorry, no rough patch justifies cheating. He should have taken up counselling. He fucked her, he cheated. He should have considered the possibility that she is fucking other guys too. The only one he can blame is the woman who forced that child onto him and himself. Don't feel bad. You don't need to be mad at your ex, but you sure as heck need to grow up and be mad at the audacity that he is trying to make you the bad one here. It's great that you still get along with your ex's family, but my dude, he made his bed. Cheating with his co-worker, he was already in bed with another man. Now he can lie in it and take care of alimony suits or whatever his plan is. I hope he can figure out something, because that child considers him her dad already. But heck, that woman stole years from him. Which he deserved, may I just add. Digital Rabbit 75 says, not the A, sucks to be him. He cheated on you and got conned. You're under no obligation to give them information. Coco Sneeze says, not the a-hole. What kind of gaslighting manipulation is this? Of course you didn't need to tell your ex or his family that you were pregnant. Block him and his family if this is how they treat you, and think of you. Lynn0712 says, also, how would they have taken that little tidbit? Hey, I'm just calling you to let you know that I am, in fact, not the infertile one. So chances are the baby that you have been fawning over for the last couple of years is most likely not your son's. Have a happy Father's Day. Toodles. No matter how she would say it, it would come out as spite and vindictive. I bet OP's ex wanted her to tell him so that they could have resparked their relationship over his betrayal. Alex M. 1982 UK says, not the a-hole. Your ex cheated. You moved on. He has now abandoned the lady that drove a wedge in your relationship because she was sleeping with another man when you were married to him. He is the a-hole. His life choices, are in no way your fault. Cut him out. Congratulations for moving on. Go and enjoy your new family. New man sounds like he is going to be a much better father. Okay, moving on to the next one. Anyway, this one was posted by Britann2, and it's called, Am I the a-hole for telling my sister that her husband was bullcrapping her? This is a wild situation. To give some background, I, 32 and female, have a sister called Leah who is 26 and female. She's been married to Jake for 5 years and they have 2 kids. We all grew up very Christian. I ended up leaving the church, but my sister and brother-in-law are still on fire Christians. Anyway, Leah has mentioned things to me that seem very sketchy. I think Jake is cheating, but she won't accept the thought. He leaves their bed at night and doesn't come back until after work the next day. He hides money and he's trying to conceive another kid with my sister. I've gently tried to give her a reality check, but it hasn't worked. Well, on Friday after work, they came over to swim, which is totally fine in our state. Jake was swimming with the kids, and my sister and I were sitting on the grass, keeping an extra eye on them. Jake had lots of red scratches on his back. To me, they looked like fingernails. I made a joke to their sister about their dry spell being over, and she said they still hadn't had sex in a year. I gently told her that they looked like finger marks, and that it was sketchy as hell. She said casually that Jake had gone on a prayer walk with his men's group, and had been spiritually attacked by a demon. Now, we grew up with these kinds of beliefs, but I told her that that was crazy and was just an excuse. She got really flustered and pulled her kids out of the pool. She told Jake she had a headache, and they left. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister my concerns? Should have stayed out of her business.